So it's been 1 week since Sheikh Hasina's ouster, but we still haven't heard from her. Her son has spoken, her daughter has given a statement, but nothing from Sheikh Hasina. Reports say that she wanted to give a speech before leaving Dhaka, sort of like a defiant last stand. Of course, things played out differently, so Hasina never managed to speak, but some parts of that speech have now leaked in the media. And in it, she's blaming the United States of America for what happened. Let me quote from that leaked speech. They wanted to seize power over the dead bodies of students, but I did not allow it. I stepped down from the premiership. I could have stayed in power if I had surrendered the sovereignty of St. Martin Island and allowed America to dominate the Bay of Bengal. This is a very serious allegation. Hasina is basically saying the US toppled her regime. Just one problem though, we can't verify the leak. Her son has already rejected this report. He says Sheikh Hasina did not prepare any statement. So who do we believe? Let's first look at the background. The US was no fan of Sheikh Hasina's government. They kept Dhaka out of Joe Biden's Summit for Democracy. They even warned of sanctions against some officials. Now, Washington says this was ideological. Biden talked about human rights guiding his foreign policy. The fact is, he did not have the guts to stand up to allies like Pakistan or Saudi Arabia, so he found a soft target in Dhaka. But Sheikh Hasina did not just see it that way. For her, it was strategic, not ideological. Look at her statement in May. This is what Sheikh Hasina said in the month of May. The offer came from a white man. If I allowed a certain country to build an air base in Bangladesh, then I would have had no problem. She did not mention any country or location, but the assumption was the same piece of land, St. Martin Island. It is located in northeast Bay of Bengal. It is Bangladesh's only coral island. Around 3,700 people live there. Most of them are engaged in fishing. Now, Sheikh Hasina has raised this issue before. Last year, she said the opposition would sell this island to the US. But Washington denied it. They said no such conversation had taken place.
We respect Bangladesh's sovereignty, and we have never engaged in any conversations about taking over St. Martin's Island. We value our partnership with Bangladesh. We strive to bolster our relationship by working together to promote democracy, including by supporting free and fair elections.
1 year later, it has resurfaced again. The question is, could it be possible? Well, there's one rule in geopolitics. Never underestimate the Americans, especially when it comes to toppling regimes. They have a history of doing it. During the Cold War, the US plotted 72 regime changes. 72. A lot of them were fellow democracies. So Washington is no stranger to such power plays. They revel in chaos. Plus, they had the motive to do it. Washington did not like Sheikh Hasina's regime. I'm sure they would love a military base in the Bay of Bengal. So they had the motive and the means. But I'm afraid there is no evidence. Nothing that ties Hasina's ouster to Washington. And it's very easy to blame foreign powers. The Jamaat and the BNP blame India. Hasina and her party blame the US. But you cannot ignore the ground reality. Foreign pressure alone could not have toppled her. Sheikh Hasina's crackdown killed more than 300 protesters, most of whom were students. Yet, they gave her a way out. They told her to apologize and release the jailed protesters. But Hasina ignored that demand too. And only then did they march to her palace. So what happened was a combination of many factors. Domestic discontent, a restive opposition, and foreign pressure campaigns. Washington may plead innocence now, but their policies made a bad situation worse.